Okay.
Good afternoon, everyone. How are you?
Good. Very good, Xavier.
Good.
Noah, nice to be here.
So today we're going to talk about one of our lineup that we decided to do for you for the wine pairing this week, alongside all of the 10 minutes by Tractor wine that you'll find on the website. We also decided to go with few different wine matching, and this one is showcasing the French grape variety grown worldwide. The reason is that Marie and the team in the kitchen decided to do a French-based menu, which we just tasted, was delicious.
It was.
So beautiful lines here. There is quite a few. There is one from Australia, one from America, one from New Zealand, one from Spain, and another one from France. So maybe we can jump on the first one. The first one, I wanted to talk to you about it because it's one of the top white wine I've tasted this year. We're in Clare Valley. We are with the Corner Brothers, and we are with the grape variety called Vermentino, which we all know it is Italian, but there is a lot of Vermentino grown in Provence, and it takes the name of roll, R-O-L-L-E, which is one of the synonym. It creates wine generally that tend to be a little bit richer, a bit more textural than a Vermentino you'll find in the north part of Italy. This one has a lot of complexity, lots of freshness, lots of delicacy and purity, which will go quite well with your first sort of snacks, which is made with egg, asparagus, vinaigrette, so quite refreshing dish. What do you think about that wine, Noah? We tasted together today.
Absolutely. I mean, it's one of those wines that you pour it and you smell it straight away. It's really lifted and it's really fantastic, really bright as well.
Yeah.
And it's not taking off the delicacy of the dish as well. You know,
Yeah.
you really get the flavors of the vinaigrette and the mustard and the eggs and all of that. Yeah, really fantastic. You know, Clare Valley. You know, you start to see those amazing examples of well-made wines, which is, you know, you can't have enough of them.
Yeah. And it's that fresh vibrancy, isn't it, that goes well, I think, with that dish. It's such a classic dish. What would you normally be, you know, is that what you'd be matching it with in France?
In France, we'll get a
or
beer.
Marseille, where you're from?
No, definitely this, and also perhaps some Sauvignon Blanc, since you got a bit of asparagus.
Yep.
So aromatic, light, grape variety, white obviously. But yeah, the imagination, you can go on and on.
Yeah.
Grenache Gris from Languedoc-Roussillon, so there's plenty of. But I thought that this wine was showcasing what Australia is all about today, alongside those classic grape variety, and it's good to see them growing in places where you would think only Riesling and Shiraz would grow.
Yeah.
So it's exciting. Very good wines. I'm sure you're gonna love it. To give you a little bit of background on the production, what this says behind, there's only 125 dozen produced every year, and we got 6 bottles for the year. So, you know, it's to tell you the
Sharing is caring, you know. With the next one, with the macaron, with the Pinot Noir macaron, and we have the Dark Liver Parfait. Beautiful. We're going to America. We're going to California. We are going to Sonoma Valley, so really next to the coast. Yeah, we are in Anderson Valley, which is in the Mendocino County. So we're talking about 300 meters above sea level. It really sits between those two tectonic plates, so it gives those beautiful complex soils up, and you get on the wine, you get that richness, complexity. It's 2017, we're talking about Pinot Noir here, and yeah, it's really lifted, energetic, and Ted Lemon, the winemaker,
It's fantastic.
yeah.
This is one of my absolute favorite Pinots from North America. It's very hard to go by. He's a fantastic winemaker, Ted. He's been out to Mornington to the Pinot celebration before, and you know, having travelled a lot in the US and tried a lot of different Pinots, you just keep coming back to Literai. He's got a wonderful deft hand, and there's a lovely elegance to those wines, and not you know what. Sometimes with that Sonoma coast and around that Anderson Valley, you're thinking about very ripe, bigger, quite higher, you know, higher in alcohol sort of styles of wines. But this is definitely not that. It's got great power, but it's got great balance as well.
And maybe you can give people that are listening to us a little bit of a context. How does it compare to Australian Pinot Noir? if there is any differences.
Yeah, well, I think the thing that we can say about a great wine like Literai is that there's a shared philosophy that you see there, and winemaking. Obviously, it's biodynamic. He's a biodynamic producer, but using very traditional winemaking techniques, very similar to what you see here in Mornington and what you'd see in Victoria from the best producers. So, guided by that same, I think, philosophy, it very much shared, of course, with Burgundy as well. But in terms of the style of the wine, obviously in that North America, and particularly on that coast, you'd seem to get, sort of bigger, more fruit weight, but lovely structure to the wines. The influence of the coast and those the sea smoke, as they call it, that comes in, is quite significant in this area, and it really, I think, benefits from being a little closer to the coast. And yeah, great, lovely wine.
Lovely wine and delicious with the duck liver, quite savory. For your next course, we are going to go with the vol au vent, which is a paper pastry basically, and inside you got snails, which is exciting to see snails at the Nisba Tractor, as well as mushrooms.
Karen's happy.
Karen is happy, yeah, Karen. Look, it's gonna be fantastic, and we thought, like, what's the best match with that? Chardonnay, obviously, and we're going in Kumeru, which is in New Zealand, but on the northern island of New Zealand. You are on the west coast with one of the top producers in the world, Michael Brashkovich, which is a master of wine as well. To give you a little bit of context as well, in London they do a lot of blind tasting, all the very well-known reviewer and writers, and they've put this wine against a lot of some of the top white Burgundy, and this came second. So it's exciting to see Chardonnay beside ours. Yeah. That works very well, and it's a wine that shows the freshness that you expect from contemporary style of Chardonnay, with a beautiful acidity, but on the same time in the mid palate you really get that savory, oily texture coming from the oak and from the concentration of the phenolic. We believe that it's going to be quite well matched with the snails and the mushroom especially, and it will bring all the savory out of the dish, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's I think you can definitely say it's one of the best, if not the best, Chardonnay in New Zealand, and I think it's changing some people's views of what can be done in New Zealand. And yeah, great Chardonnay. I mean, it's made well, and yeah, it's a good choice for the international bracket.
That's it. I think.
Yeah, I mean, do you have any rule of thumb when it's coming to great Chardonnay making, Martin?
To me, it's about that sort of balance and deft touch, where you've got sort of that beautiful aromatics, you've got lovely fine structure, finely detailed wines with power.
Yes.
And and so much of that is really that lovely acidity, and getting that balance of acidity with the fruit, and making sure that it just all hangs together so well. That balance is really the key, I think. Balance. And good winemaking, and from a good site, you're going to see lovely complexity and wines that just a joy to drink and great with food.
100%.
Nice. Well, for the Bouillabaisse, what did we choose?
Yeah, so this is a fantastic wine. It's made by Clos Morgador. It's called Nelin. It's coming from Priorat. We're in Spain. 2016. It's a blend of Grenache Blanc, a bit of Macabeo as well. We're in east of Spain, and it's beautiful. There is that beautifully richness, without to be heavy. It's really fantastic wine. They have almost like a uniqueness that you can see only in that area. It's really lifted. It's really bright. There is a lot of tension and depth. For me, it's wine that I could pour in my glass and really look into it, like, well more than an hour, and just going back to it. It's really complex, and you get a lot of like spiciness that, for me, seeing the bouillabaisse in the kitchen and all the spices just going by and smell it, it's really, really...
So I don't know this wine, Noah, and it's great to see some wines in the cellar that, with some new something new to discover. So it's great. Whereabouts in Spain are we talking about?
So we're talking about east of Spain, not far from Barcelona, so on the
right.
east coast.
To the north of Barcelona, to the south.
Southeast.
Yeah.
And yeah, there is a lot of schist soil.
Yeah.
You get all that coolness effect from
Yeah,
the ocean.
from the ocean.
And yeah, it's really
Fantastic.
fantastic. It's regardless to the alcohol, and it's about around 14% alcohol. It's one of those wines that's really fine and balanced, like we talked before.
Yeah.
And you really, it's really lifted, it's really bright, and really elegant. What do you think, Xavier?
So the reason why we choose that wine is the way how they've treated the grape at the winery and the way how they make wine. You will find on your glass that the wine is a slightly deeper color because there's a little bit of what we call skin contact. It doesn't mean that it is fine, but it is
It's got some of those
adding,
phenolics.
yeah, it's adding a lot of structure to the wines, which means that for us in the bouillabaisse with the spices and the richness of the sauce, it will work quite well.
It cuts through, doesn't
Yeah,
it?
cut through, but also complement the richness of the dish. And you have René Barbier, which was the owner of Clos Mogador, a very important producer in Priora. Priora went through a bit of a revolution with the wine writers wanting to have the wine very big and rich, and then you had two schools happening. One that wanted to have the contemporary style very extracted, and the other one and using international grape variety. And then you had the more classic, I would say, producer using grape variety that were indigenous from the place, as well as less extraction. I see Clos Mogador being a little bit in between, having the technology of the modernity, but at the same time trying to keep the traditions alike. And and we love this wine because it's not something that you see every day, and it's for me this is a sort of the white wine with the extra layers of complexity, which is perfect for that.
So I saw you in the kitchen a minute ago tasting the bouillabaisse.
It's a quality check.
So and
So
there's also a bit of what we say sometimes it's good to pair colors with colors, and you see the color of the bouillabaisse, it's quite orangey, sort of dark, and you think, oh wow, it's just incredible.
Very good. And so what have you got to finish up with what is a beautiful dessert?
The dessert is probably Martin's favorite. It's got a bit of a sweet tooth here. We have a Paris-Brest, which is a very classic choux pastry filled with hazelnut cream, and it's caramelized. It's just as soon as you start putting your spoon in there, you never stop. and so what we're doing?
And it's a classic match. Here we go.
We're going to Sauternes in Bordeaux with the Sauvignon Blanc Sémillon. It's what we call a noble wine, like it is, as we say in Australia. It's a botrytis wine. We like that. We like that word. Late harvest, affected by a fungus on the vineyard called botrytis cinerea, which basically draw all the moisture out of the grapes and concentrate the sugar, as well as adding layers of savoriness due to the actual flavor of the
Exactly, and Chateau Filo.
and Chateau Filo. You're in Sauternes, so you are in the epicenter of environmental sort of like perfection for that style of wine, where you have the confluence of two different rivers bringing enough enough humidity during the morning to let that botrytis spreading through the vineyard. Afternoon it's nice and dry, so it dries up all the vineyards, that's the reason why Sauternes is so special when it comes to this style of wine. So expect marmalade, like orangey flavors, and then there's a touch of that saffron coming into place, and there's beautiful layers which go quite well with, again, the hazelnut caramelization. What do you think?
Absolutely. I mean, yeah, 2015 was a really good vintage as well. You know, really, you by many considered classic. Really nice, ideal conditions for that noble rot. I mean, Sauternes is one of those. It's so versatile. You can have it with dessert, with cheese, or even by its own.
Be like French. Foie gras. When are we going to have?
So not a bad lineup for the grand final.
For the grand final. What are you for?
Well, of course, I've got to go with the Demons. So I'm a Sydney Swans supporter, so I'll go for Melbourne this week.
Okay, let's cross finger for them then.
Yeah. So what do you think we should? So when you finish the meal and you're watching the rest of the grand final, What are you suggesting?
Get on the beers. No, just get into a bit of champagne. No, but thank you very much for joining us. Thank you very much for your support again this week. We're very excited to do those lineups. This week we had Martin with us. It's very special for us, and hopefully you enjoy. And thank you. And please don't hesitate to give us some feedback once you finish. We'll be happy to hear what you thought about that lineup. Thank you.
Great stuff.
Bye.
Go to Demons.
Go to David.